these days. Pow, zoom. Right to the kisses.
Back. Dan here. Dee, I gotta sit different. Dee pod shop, so we don't sit the same. People kept saying we look the same, we sit the same.
And you guys shake your leg the same. I feel like we discovered a lot about your genealogy last week.
So we're back at it. We have Murr has brought a script. Look at the font size.
Well, he didn't want to wear his glasses.
There you go.
I probably still could have to wear my glasses.
So we're back at it. Everyone has to immediately stop and go in the comment section or talk to Danny about it, because Murr keeps saying, well, do you want me back? I'm worried about just Murr. We want you here.
Do people like me?
Yeah. Tell people they like Murr. Now, big news, huge news. We're on podcast 2. We already have sponsorship. Danny?
A title sponsorship.
Title sponsor. Small local business.
I don't know that.
Well, you're about to find out. Anyway, so ddspeedshop.ca. We have hats. Murr, that's for you. We have t-shirts. Murr, this is also for you. So we got DD Speed Shop on the front this time. Artwork on the back.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's got the blower on it.
Oh, good.
There you go.
All right.
And work shirts. I don't know. Do you still do work? Should I just keep this one?
I gotta
say, so I will say, I was iffy on the old work shirt. When Danny ordered these, she's like, oh, let's get some, this and that. I'm like, nah, I don't know. But I like them. It turns out I didn't know anything about them, but they're red cap, like name brand stuff.
Real, yeah.
You look ridiculous.
You
look like hello, children.
Murr, I think you're a forward cap kind of guy.
I thought so too, but you know what?
So anyways, there you go.
All right.
We got the nice car in here.
Put it in there. Won't have to
if people are viewing, watch the paint, man.
Oh, yeah.
So we have, if you're listening, we have the nicest car I've ever bought in my life, 1955 Nomad, a nice one behind us. So we're going to work on this thing right away. What else I want to talk about? Was that it right off the bat?
That's all. It's over.
Yeah, so we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for coming. Yeah.
Please like, share, subscribe. Sponsorships, though, in all reality, so this is kind of paying the bills here. So if you want to buy a shirt, I'll sit differently. And we're looking, actually, for maybe a couple of sponsors. Seems like the podcasting can do. So if you know anybody or have any suggestions, we are open to anything like that. Is that good enough intro?
You know what? We'll take it. We're gonna get better.
I don't think so.
Maybe I'll do the intros from now on.
Yeah, it's a nice voiceover.
We'll just put him on mute the whole time.
So we each have stuff we want to talk about today. Did you want to go first?
Whatever, I just thought it would be a good idea.
So Murr's cranky about new stuff, I'm cranky about old stuff, so there you go.
Yeah, we could do all kinds of things.
So you can complain about the satellites and whatever your issue is.
Yeah, okay, could do that.
Should we put our tinfoil hats on before we begin?
We really should do that, yes. Yeah. No, just do make a comment, because offered to help Dan do this, so no idea what I'm doing, so a little bit of guideline would be great.
Nobody knows what they're doing.
Nobody knows.
It's the internet.
Murr, the amount of people who talked about how much they appreciated, like, just your guys' relationship and you being on the podcast, and like a lot of folks have like lost their parents at this point. So many people were just like, feel like you've become the internet's like garage dad at this point.
Okay,
so,
that's one thing, but I mean, we do have to talk about something. And I mean, I spent the first hour abusing Dan and his history, but once that's done, it's over. We have to move on to new things. And unfortunately, as people may have noticed, we're somewhat different in a lot of different things. So
let's talk about how mad you are at BMW. They're going to charge you to use your roll-up windows and all the fancy options.
Okay, well, that's one of those things. Yes, we could do that. The whole great cloud.
Because I've had to hear about it, so do you.
So do you. Yes. Now, I personally have a bit of a problem with companies that charge people money for things that don't cost anything. So, starting off, airline people. They want to charge you $25 to sit next to your wife, which means
airing of grievances.
The airing of grievances, that's right.
Okay,
where's the steel pole?
Yeah, we need our Festivus pole.
That's right. But aside from my little plaid heart, I just can't stand that, where people charge you for things that cost them nothing, and they kind of got you. Like if you want to fly somewhere and you want to sit next to your wife, or if you have a child, you have to do that, and they just make $50 off you for no reason.
Alternatively to that, so what do you do if you've paid your money to sit next to beautiful mother, and somebody comes up to you, and the person beside you is somebody else's wife or husband, and now their wife or husband is asking if you can switch seats?
Not a snowball's chance would be my guess, but
I think it depends on how the meal went before the flight.
yes, I
I'll
guess
sit
that's
back
true.
there. I got this. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that type of thing, and they have, most corporations seem to have large groups of people thinking of ways to screw the general public, which I have a hard time with.
The problem is the bean counters are in charge. It's always
The
like
bean
that.
counters are in charge, I know, but I mean, some people have to vote with their feet by saying, no, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
It's the almighty dollar, people. It's like anything. I mean, like I got so many friends there. They forget and they chase the almighty dollar instead of staying at a job maybe that's better for them. They can be promoted up and have time off and this and that. And they're out on the oil rig or welding or doing whatever they're doing. And it's what's the most money on my next paycheck, and they lose sight of the next paycheck or 50 paychecks down the road. And I think that's a lot of stuff like that, because I mean, I don't have anything new, but a 1957 Chevy, every option it could have got, I have them. Roll up windows, I got them. So I couldn't imagine buying a car, like every car is the same and then they're different on your monthly subscription.
So how does that tie into BMW?
That's just one of them. They tried that unsuccessfully. I don't know in Canada, but for sure in the States, where they wanted to charge you for options. The first one being Apple CarPlay. So it's in the car, it's all ready to go, and they charge you for just turning it on. And
But it's monthly, right? It's not just once.
Yeah.
Isn't Sirius XM like that too?
Well, they're a whole. Don't get me started on those crooks.
Yeah.
That's a whole different.
Sirius XM will not be a sponsor of the TV Speech Out podcast.
But that actually is different because they provide a service. And that's a company and they have to make money, and that makes sense to me. And they charging you for data, like the BMW, my BMW, you can unlock your cars via satellite, and they pay a yearly fee, and that makes sense because if I go somewhere, I lose my keys, or we're in BC, I ride my bike and I don't have to have my keys with me, and they're paying for the satellite. Okay, I chose to do that. I chose to spend the $90 or whatever. I knew what I was doing. I'm happy with that. That the idea of like Toyota wanted to charge you to unlock your car. Like you have a key fob.
But weren't they
it's already
charging
in
for
there.
like heated seats and stuff
Yeah,
too?
same
Like
thing.
every car had
Yeah.
heated seats,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't work.
That's right.
That's
Yes.
a little ridiculous.
That's it.
Like the money was spent.
So
That's-
it's already spent money. It's
Yeah.
not like, because I remember when I was car shopping, there was like the difference between models of like a deluxe model, whatever, where like you could get the basic model where you have your roll up windows and stuff, but then you pay more to get like the bonus features. But this is, the features are not already added in. The features are in and
they
don't
are.
Are there
turn
different
on.
models now though, or not? Like it has to be
No,
still.
I suspect most of the different models have things that are physically most often different. Like this has a sunroof, it doesn't. That's something.
Yeah.
But the electronics are already there. The last car I bought before the BMW was a Golf R, and it had all kinds of stuff in its computer that you just had to turn on. And they had to not turn it on in different markets, different from Canada and US and Europe, but all the stuff was still in there. And if you wanted to turn it on, you just had to buy a little adapter, plugged it in. The software was, I don't know, $75, and you can do that. So it does things like, as you come up to the car, it'll unlock or lock for you, and different light signatures. Do you want the lights to come on or off? They have an emergency braking system, which is, I think, a darn good idea. They have it in Europe. If you are severe braking, your brake lights flash very rapidly to show that people coming up behind you, you're not just stopping like, holy shit, I'm stopping a lot. And apparently it's illegal in North America and they can't do it. But it's all in the computer. And the same thing with that lock, unlock, electric seats that are in there. And they get you. They're sort of like the cocaine dealers. It works for the first 3 months.
Oh, yeah.
And gets you nice and used to it. And then, oh, gee, now it doesn't work all of a sudden. So, yeah.
So it's a racket.
It's a racket.
It's an extra $75 like a month or a year.
It depends on what the options are. They usually have a thing where it's so much a month, or if you buy it for a year, it's cheaper. But, I mean, every plan is different. Every information is there. Uh-oh.
This
Did it
guy
again?
with his phone.
Oh, I meant to turn it off.
Episode 2, we talked about. I meant to turn it off and didn't.
I know.
Maybe
So-
on your size 18 text for
All
the
right.
next notes, right?
Turn off phone.
Turn off.
Sorry, Internet.
Turn
Who's
off.
even calling you? Everyone you talk to except Mum is here.
That's probably what it was.
I have no friends. Indeed. But yeah, so back to that, the cars, the wiring is there, everything is there. It's actually cheaper for them to produce it that way because they make them all the same.
Right.
So rather than have two different wiring harnesses, like 100 years ago when I used to work for Volvo, the earth was still cooling. The wiring harness was the same for all cars. And a lot of stuff was just, I said, why is this plug here? Well, they use that in Europe. What about this one? They use that in Germany. But they just make one wiring harness, they just don't use it. So all these things that are there cost them nothing. They produce all the same thing, but they want to charge you to turn it on. So
unfortunately,
there's a rant.
I think I would pay the, just knowing who I am as a person, I'd probably pay the fee.
Of
That's
course
the
you
problem,
would.
though, is old man winter here. Boomers are fighting it,
Yeah.
but they know they'll wait
It's
it
just
out,
like
and
with Netflix
millennials
or
will just
whatever,
pay.
right? Like with Netflix, if you want to add a person, you got to pay a fee, and if you want to, like Amazon Prime, you pay a fee. So like for like, I feel like our generation, we're just used to always having to pay add-on fees for like the maximum service that we want, and we just accept it and eat our avocado toast,
Your
drink our iced
pushovers.
coffees, and we'll never afford a house.
Your pushovers.
Yeah.
We're the same generation.
Yeah, but everything
You're
I
much
have,
older than I am in the generation, to be clear.
everything I drive is a carburetor and roll-up windows, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the options I've been given.
Yeah.
So
well,
you wouldn't pay for the additional services?
I don't think so.
Really?
What am I gonna get?
I guess so.
I'd pay, like Tesla makes you pay to go faster, right?
Oh, yes.
I'd pay that one.
But you,
How do they
but
pay to make you go faster?
That's a scam.
it's like all in the computer. and if you pay the God knows a lot of money to make it go faster, and you sell it to the next guy, it doesn't necessarily stay with the car. So it's
That's
like,
a good
so
scam.
it's like
I like that one, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So I mean, they claim it's because in your next Tesla you can transfer it to your other Tesla.
Right.
So, okay, I don't know. But the fact that they do that, and it's really expensive. Tesla options are quite expensive. They're full self-driving, they call it, like glorified cruise control and all that. $10,000.
You can buy a nice carburetor for $10,000.
You can buy 100 nice carburetors for that. But
How would the speed thing work with insurance then, though? Like, would you have to, like, I guess it'd be different everywhere. But, like, would you have to, like, claim on your insurance that, like, your car can, like, have these adjustments to it?
No. They just go on whatever the car is. Because it doesn't really make any difference. They just go into the Tesla and said, oh, you bought a nice Tesla, and they go clickety, clickety, click. Oh, and it's got another 150 horsepower.
That sounds all right, though. I like
It does.
That part.
Well,
I'd pay more for that.
You'd pay more for that. Even
Well,
though.
either it's you pay more when you buy it, or you get it and you pay more after. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
if you wanted to go buy a 69 Camaro, if you wanted the straight 6 or the 327 or the Z28,
Yeah.
you're going to pay more money.
Yeah.
You just pay it up front. And that's, I mean, I don't know how Tesla does it. I haven't done a whole lot of research
Nope,
on the matter, I'm not going to lie.
No.
But I'd assume they're probably similar in base price. You go in there and you buy whatever you want and you carry on.
It's like buying an iPhone. You just go
But
in
when you
there
get,
and.
like the Plaid is the fast one. But is that an actual model? If you go in there, is that a Plaid and that's a whatever? Or they all could be Plaids?
The Plaid is a separate model,
Oh.
as near as I understand. They just have a different sticker on the back, but
Is that what they do? So you pay more money, they go clickety click, slap a sticker on the back out the door, and it's a Plaid?
Tesla's got a good deal going because all their shit is the same. It's like the small block Chevy of electric cars.
They're all
Like,
ugly.
They're all the same.
The panels
and-
all don't fit together.
Yeah.
They all burst into flames.
Yeah.
They're all the same. Elon shutting off that.
Yeah. Don't mess with Elon, man.
I like him. He seems like a pretty good guy. He could hang on his yacht or go in his boring holes or whatever.
Yeah.
We had his ride in his tunnel. That's the only Tesla I've ever been in, was in a tunnel in Vegas.
When we were at SEMA.
Oh, you rode in the tunnel.
Well,
Yeah.
we did SEMA there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You could go whatever, and it was cool.
Yeah.
Well, and it was weird because they kind of like, they themselves treated it like you were on a ride. Like, it was a very, like,
Well, the drivers didn't do anything, though.
the driver doesn't do anything, right? So you get in, they like welcome you into the Tesla, and they're like, oh, well, you can do this and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Like, it was very interesting. And
Well,
then
we
you
got
just,
to ride all of them because they had 3 models. They had like the base model, and they had the
The
gull
gull wing
wing.
doors. yeah.
pterodactyl there.
Yeah.
We hopped in there. It was kind of neat.
yeah.
It was whatever. I mean,
Well, he's absolutely insane, but he's so smart. I can't say anything about Elon. I mean, that guy's got so much money.
He figured it out.
He figured it out. He figured it out so long ago when he came up with that whole Tesla supercharger thing, and that's how many years ago now. I thought that guy is clever. He's putting these things all over the place, putting the cocaine dispensers all over the place, and it worked. There he goes. Oh, I want to buy an electric car. Where am I going to charge it? What am I going to do? Wait a minute. I know. I'll get this. It's all knowing, all seeing.
I like that meme where they show it like they compare like the Tesla to the microwave and the steak versus the 57 Chevy is your barbecuing or whatever. Yeah, it's better in every single way except is that what you want?
Yeah.
That's I don't know.
I don't think a microwave steak would ever be better than a barbecued steak.
That's what I'm saying, but it's faster, it's more efficient, it's all those sort of things. Like a Tesla, it checks 10 out of 10 on all the boxes except for soul.
That's right.
That it has 0.
Yeah, but
that's the thing.
But if that's what you're shopping for, I mean, that's good. I drove a brand new Tesla this year when we were in BC. It was a really good, boring driving experience. But if you were a person that doesn't want to know anything about cars, you just want a car, man, that is the thing.
But it just feels like cars.
Yeah, well, like when you bought your Kia, as a driving experience, not very much, but I mean, it's going after a young.
Hey, I bought the main selling feature of my Kia was the speaker lights
That
lit
flash.
up to the music,
Yeah.
and that was really fun.
Cars have. They used to be, I think, like a bit of expression of what you wanted. It was exciting. Before my time, you'd go to the new models and all that stuff. It's probably a big deal. I feel like I missed out on that part.
Oh.
But now they're so close to a coffee maker that that's all they are.
Absolutely.
It's like you could walk in there, and I mean, like at work, it doesn't matter. Like whether it's a Rogue or a Hyundai or they're all like a Honda, they're the same. Like they are the same.
And without question, I mean, the number of times your mom goes to the wrong car and
black four-door SUV,
a black four-door SUV, that's right. And she's absolutely right. If I didn't know anything about cars, like the BMW is the X40i, big tires, fancy engine, that parked next to a black Hyundai Santa Fe, no real difference.
Black car that looks the same.
Exactly. So, yeah.
You know what? We almost never lose our cars in the parking lot.
Almost never.
And almost every time you stop anywhere for gas or people want to ask you about it.
Yeah.
And they want to let you know that it's leaking.
Is that the I-40?
Yeah, no.
21-inch tires? Oh, I bet it doesn't have a spare tire in it even.
You're right.
Sends Burr the moon. No spare tire, loses mine.
Oh, I know. All right. Well, yeah, I can rant about that.
I was just going to ask,
paid
what
my
happened
money.
with the spare tire?
Do you remember the spare tire?
They don't have one. BMW, I mean, I bought it knowing what I was getting into, but it's still pissing me off.
You bought it knowing it didn't have a spare tire?
It can't have a spare tire. A lot of cars don't have spare tires now. And this particular one uses run flat tires, they call it, which, as I found out, don't work. Hit a pothole, cut the tire, 3-inch slit in it, deader than a mackerel. That's it. You're not driving it. So fortunately, it happened close to home, and I got one of the snow tires, put it on. But it's just ludicrous that you have a car like that.
Just so we're clear, he was unbearable for that day.
I was. Oh yes.
He calls me to complain about, I have a flat tire, my run flat tire, and I had to do this, and I had to do that, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, that's my life.
Yeah.
Flat tire.
Well, we're in the same boat because I don't think any of your cars have a spare tire.
This one might have the factory.
Maybe your Ford truck might have a spare tire.
Yeah,
when we travel, we always have a spare tire.
I grab a spare when we're traveling. That's all I have a spare for.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just life.
It's not like you got a cell phone. And
I'm past the, like if something breaks down now, we call an Uber, come home, get the tow truck, drag it home, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That's life. It's not worth screwing around anymore.
No, but not having a spare tire is so ridiculous.
I wouldn't even know how to change it, so it makes sense to me to not have one.
See, that's the other thing. I mean, depending where if you're traveling and you got to change it, but if you're in the city, I mean, I don't know, but the people driving on the roads lately, it feels like we're going backwards in the level of care. I'd sooner put that thing on the hook, drag it home. Even if you got to pay a guy the $150 to change it at home, not in the winter, you're doing the warm, you're not on the side of the road dealing with idiots.
Yeah.
You think you're saving $150? I don't think you are. I think you bring it home. you do it, and then you take it into the tire shop or do whatever you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're on the side of the road in the mountains and you're traveling,
that's
different situation. I understand that. So that's why we only have a spare tire. Well, when we're traveling, because that's the other thing. I mean, like this thing, you pull out the bumper jack, which is killer 9000, with your tire iron, which you're trying to do. Like, come on, like let's get a floor jack and an impact, and it's probably faster to drive home, get with your tools, drive back, change it properly, and then actually try and screw around with
get your little floor jack lifted up where
like all the things they tell you not to do, you're doing on the side of the road with traffic, drawing attention to yourself. Like, pass, bring it home,
bring it home. Yeah. Well, so that's the option thing, the rant about the different options.
Well, I think I'm probably 40 years away from having to deal with that.
You probably are.
The market I'm into is kind of 70s or whatever it is, and maybe I'm getting into the 80s, but I think I'm still okay there.
Yeah.
But when a 2020 comes up 40 years from now to keep it, I think there'll be a hack for it or something.
Yeah. Well, it's unlikely that they'll still be around, I have to say.
Yeah, well, I won't have to hear you complain about it.
You for sure won't. No.
I'm going to have to hear
I'm sure
Dan complain about
he'll
it.
upload his thoughts into a computer.
So that we could always have Mur with us.
Could you imagine?
The Murbot. What is it Futurama or on The Simpsons or something? They had an episode where Abe was like in like a robot TV or whatever, talking to everybody at Thanksgiving.
That'll be Mur.
That would be good. I can haunt you past the grave. Wouldn't that be fun? I'm phoning
You've
Elon.
done the damage. Don't worry.
Call your buddy
You're
Elon.
gonna haunt me past my grave. Your grave. Don't worry.
I don't know if Elon's going to take your calls after this conversation.
Yeah,
Mur.
that's true. I'm just hoping my house
So
still
we're
has
not
power.
getting the Tesla sponsorship. That's what you're saying.
We're not getting the Tesla
We tried.
sponsorship. No.
Tried.
And you were that close too, I thought,
Yeah, that $47 was a long way from old Elon.
Yeah, but they do, very clever. Went to the Tesla dealership in Victoria. Really nice, fancy, and ever so helpful. Would you like a drink? All that sort of stuff. Here's the price. Pay it or don't.
When
We
they
don't care.
offered you a drink, did they offer you like a fancy drink? Like, did they offer you like a cappuccino or like a bubbly sparkling water? Or was it like...
They had a bunch of different, sort of canned drink, fruit juice sort of things. I believe they had like a fancy cappuccino machine.
That's what I
I'm
would
not
expect.
sure because I didn't have that.
It would have to be non-GMO, anybody got hurt, no dolphins get hurt in the fresh pressed, organically grown stuff for people there.
Well,
I always liked the story there, like Ed Bowling, he talks about the Lamborghini dealer. They had the Lamborghini coffee machine that was just overly complicated, but you had to have it to be a franchise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love that stupid shit.
Yeah. Well, last year, and I had the BMW in for service under warranty, like the free maintenance thing. They had that. They had that machine, and the guy said, would you like a cappuccino? Sure, that would be darn nice. This thing is about the size of a 50-inch TV set with lots of buttons and dials. They're going, ew, sure would like a cappuccino. But,
Did you do it yourself?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're out to lunch there.
But no, the nice man came over and instructed us, and it was a really good cappuccino, I have to say, but wow.
I wouldn't have expected that they would have you do it yourself. What if you broke something?
Well, no, you can't. It's idiot proofed. It's just how do you start? Like there's, rows of different kinds of capsules and different, you want it extra hot, extra foamed. Like, it was really complicated. So
I've never had that experience at the junkyard.
No.
I would expect if you're going somewhere like Tesla or the Lamborghini place or like fancy, like I would expect that they would at least offer me a fancy coffee.
Yeah.
Like if they're offering me just like coffee from a pot, I feel like there's not something adding up there.
Yeah.
I want like the full experience
Yeah.
because that's part of buying a car is the
absolutely.
experience of buying a car is you go into the dealership and you get greeted and like all of these things add to your likelihood of buying the car because it's putting you in the mood.
Absolutely correct.
Unlike when we go
My experience is very different.
minus 40 to pull something out of the snow.
We load up the tow truck. A lot of times we do get a coffee. You get a McDonald's coffee or something for the ride.
Hey, Mike does give you coffee at the storage center.
What the hell? Yeah.
You better get on
You go to
that.
some stranger's house. You
we
start
put on
poking
6
around.
layers.
Hey, you got a dress for it. You bring some tools. You bring it out, you drag it home. I don't know.
It's an adventure.
Yeah.
It's way different than clicking the button. The Tesla, would you like the white one?
It just
or do you
gets
want the
delivered.
red one?
Yeah.
And it's delivered, yeah.
That's boring.
Yeah.
Who would want that?
A lot of people. I could easily see that. It would be just like ordering your phone.
We should offer a service. Come with Dan to look at a car. And we could go through the chaos of it.
Yes.
And then they'd really appreciate it. We should get sponsored by BMW. Next time you get a cranky customer,
Yeah, take them there.
we'll hook you up.
That's right. It'll be the, like a build your own adventure book. You want a 55 Chevy? Well, here you go. Wear your snowmobile suit, take some coffee.
Also, don't drink too much coffee because there won't be a bathroom for you to use.
You figure that out. Dudes don't have those issues.
That's right. The whole
That's only you
country's a
that have to live
bathroom.
with the liquids, yeah.
Goodness
All right, what else you got? Is that your... so Mur brought a battery charger.
Okay, well...
If anyone's listening...
Mur had asked me if he's allowed to do a show and tell, and I said that because he seemed very excited about the show and tell. So I said he could. He just had to remember that for some of you, you're only listening, not watching. So he has to be extra descriptive.
All right, I'll speak very slowly.
Use your teaching skills.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so I thought of when we were going to do this, something that might be different that people weren't aware of, and battery chargers. Battery chargers have changed a lot in these 40 years. And
Why are you laughing?
As I know, because
this is my life. And I'm so happy everyone gets to hear this now.
That's right.
I just picture Mur calling me, telling me, hey, check out this deal I got at a battery charger. Then I have to listen to whatever he's going to say for the next 15 minutes with you guys.
I'll turn this car around.
Yeah, okay, let's hear it. I'm excited to learn a little bit about a battery tender.
Okay.
Plus.
Does he have to be here?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh, yeah, the title of the show. Okay, this thing that I brought for show and tell, just like grade 7, is a battery tender, which happens to be the brand name, but there's lots of different ones that do the same thing. Automotive batteries have changed a lot. It used to be in the old days, your battery would last 8-9 years and it was getting weak. It would slow down. The car would just slow down starting. Now they don't work. They work great until they don't work, and then you're phoning the guy with the tow truck.
Yep.
Also, they don't like, and vehicles don't like, to have their battery discharged. Now, in this automobile, 55 Chevy, the only thing that's going to suck your battery down would be the clock. And there's not much else on there, whereas most modern cars now have a lot of accessories that continually drain down the battery. So if you have your collector car, even if it's an old one, that has the new style battery, which really doesn't like to be discharged. So sometimes once they go dead once, you can't charge them up. So a battery tender, which is what I brought, little small box, they're somewhere around $40-50, and it is also called a float charger. It brings the battery up to a predetermined level and holds it there. Old style batteries, if you plug them in, even a slow one, will continue to charge the battery at 2 amps, 5 amps, whatever it is. So if you do it all winter, when the car's sitting out in your storage facility, it would eventually heat up the battery and the electrolyte would go away. Again, in the old days, you would just top it up, you'd be golden. Now batteries are sealed. So if you have one of these things, it brings the battery up to about 85%, then slowly brings it up the rest of the way and keeps it there and does not overcharge it. So that protects your battery. And I had this on the Mercedes that sat all winter and cranked it up. It was just fine. This will make the battery last a lot longer, and hopefully you won't have to replace it.
But on the flip side, you don't get to screw around and make a YouTube video every time the battery's dead.
Well, that's true.
Well, and another thing I'm learning now, batteries, I could care less, because usually if it gets to go and it goes boom and it fires up, you're good. But now I'm figuring out this EFI and a few things, they need 10, 11, 12 volts to trigger the ECU and all that. They are not happy. Because an old thing like this, if it has 9.5 volts, just enough, and it catches, it's going, it's running, and then it's going to figure itself out. But an LS driver, you can have enough where it'll crank, and you can see a little screen that's flickering on and off, and it's just, it doesn't have enough. The battery's not dead, but you can't start the car.
That's because
ridiculous.
because they have a computer. computers are really good, but they will not make a wrong decision. So they have a reference voltage, usually somewhere around 7 or 8 volts. If it doesn't have that, it won't make a decision, so it'll do nothing.
Yeah.
So that is a big problem. So
Well,
you
and
want
then on the flip side to that too, some of those things, like in the poly stuff and all that, they recommend you don't even boost it. They recommend you disconnect the battery, charge it, and then hook it back up and then start it. Because otherwise it can fry itself the other way.
absolutely correct. And
What a hassle.
any of the, I'm not say modern cars, anything past probably 85 or 90, which isn't really modern, I know, but when they had fuel injection, if you look in the owner's manual, that's what they say. They don't recommend boosting it. They recommend substituting a known good battery, which of course you have in your back pocket. And of course it's really easy, like a Chrysler, jack it up, pull off the left front wheel, take the fender well up. So anyway, another reason why to use one of these things. They also come with a little set of clips, like a regular jumper cables, but they also have ones that you can leave on your battery permanently. Just have the little plug, so you can just plug it in when you want it, unplug it, and you don't have to sort it out.
So when your collector car is in its orb
It's right.
of whatever little air compressors, so it can't get it. Yes, that's what you
do that. Yeah.
So would you so if your car battery is dead, you would use that instead of boosting it? Is that what you're saying?
This would be safe to do that.
But you're taking a different car to dinner with that.
That's right. This little
Right.
this little box, if the battery was dead, it would probably take at least 8 hours to bring it up. There are battery chargers that are a different purpose, designed to produce a lot of current. That's what you want to do if you want to try and move it. But this is just to maintain your battery for storage, or if it's going to sit for a long time.
Right.
A lot of people use them on things like dirt bikes and snowmobiles and
So seasonal stuff.
seasonal stuff, right? So when
Okay,
it's
so
not season,
here's a good question. So I use on the ground right there, I got the booster pack.
Yeah.
Where's that in the road? Obviously more than that. But is that, because it says 14 volts on
Yeah.
it, but is it like a boost thing, or is it just like that's a good battery? It's like you're hooking it up and just a regular battery being hooked up, so it can't cause any damage.
Right. It's a lithium-ion battery, and it does not exceed whatever it is, 14 volts, which is safe. The other problem that can happen, suppose you happen upon Danny with her 2020 Kia with a dead battery, and you come up with your 55 Chevy and just boost it. Well, you hook up the booster cables and you start this thing up, and first thing you do is rev the hell out of it, of course. Well, this car knows, I'm going to charge up to 15, 16 volts, because they aren't very highly regulated. The little Kia is a charging system controlled by the computer. So it controls the charge with the computer. It doesn't all of a sudden know that somebody snuck up with 15, 18 volts and hit it on the battery, and it goes, oh wow, and poof, then it never starts again. So that's the reason why they say
like an LS motor or something, you don't ever want to boost it.
anything with a computer, you want to be very leery. Like, I would not, boost somebody with my new car out in the parking lot, because real chance that as soon as his car starts to generate power, it will overcharge your car, the good car, and you could have a problem. And it might happen. Will it happen all the time? It's one of those things that probably 99 times out of 100
it's
it
fine.
won't. But do I want to,
You don't want to be the guy that has a bricked car.
Exactly. Thanks very much for that.
So it would be better to have like a booster pack.
Well, that's why I bought the
Yeah.
booster pack, just because it's
Yeah.
faster than trying to hook up to a battery charger and no screwing around and all this stuff. You just boom, goes, done.
Because I had no idea about that it could. Because what if you are like trying to be a good Samaritan, you help a stranger, and then it busts your car? You're the
Yeah.
1 in a million chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would not do that.
So booster pack, kids.
Yeah. They also have, and I was going to buy one, I haven't had it yet, is they have the ones that are small, about that big, like 4 by 8 inches.
Yeah, I was thinking those are expensive.
They're
Pretty good ones.
expensive, but apparently they work. Like and these things are great, but they're a little heavy to carry around.
Yeah.
The big booster
But those ones
pack.
are like $200.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but apparently they work. So
Okay, have we significantly bored enough people about battery tenders?
Yeah, I
I
think so.
thought that was I learned something new today
was
about
very
batteries.
informative.
it was very informative, a little boring, but I'd say
You feel good about it, Doug.
I feel good about
If
it.
you help
know
feel
what?
like you
one
did your
person.
public
If you help
service.
one person, yeah, and there is Just as closing, there's many different sizes and kinds for what you want. Some are, you can still get them in 6 volts and stuff like that if you have your old collector car that you need to do that. So we're spending the $50, might save you a $200 battery, and is perfectly safe and avoiding the hassle.
So that is money well spent, is what you're saying.
Moving on, that's right. A good investment.
You know what we should do is we need a piece on the website of products Mer endorsed.
Ah,
That's actually not a bad idea.
Because I tell you, so here, this is completely off topic, but anything we need, anything, we text Mer. You a toaster, a coffee maker, you need a new blender, Mer will go through.
A tree stand for the Christmas tree.
He'll research whatever it is, what's the best one, best value, and he'll give you options. Well, do you want the cheapie? Here's the best cheapie one. Here's the best this. Here's this one on sale. In 2 weeks from now, this is happening. There's a rain check over here at this one.
Even if it's stuff that he doesn't really know about. So like when I was looking for new TVs for when I got my new PlayStation or whatever, Mer was like, well, did you think about this one or did you think about this one? I saw there's this one and blah, blah, blah. Like he knows. He goes into it deep.
And there's a chance it'll be at a garage sale. So you really win. Then it's just freebies. Was that a garage sale find?
brand new garage sale, $8.
Oh, there's that favorite feeling in the world is getting a deal.
But money well spent is
Yeah.
something I think a lot of people can lose sight of, especially when they're building a hot rod or restoring a hot rod, which we have run into lately with the Camaro, is where is your money going to be best well spent? And people have been asking you why you're not spending money on certain things.
I like your segue there. So it's time, what really grinds my gears now.
Okay.
So I just did a video on the Camaro. And that thing was a disaster. I mean, we've changed the metal on that thing front to back. We kept the firewall part of the floor and the roof skin. Otherwise, everything else on that thing and the trunk lid has been changed. Suspension, brakes, motor, trans, rear end.
So much work.
Everything. Every single thing has changed. Well, anyways, I haven't done anything on the interior. And I had changed the windshield the other day. So I pulled the old windshield out, which I cracked because I was an idiot. And while it was out, I cleaned up the dash and I painted it, made it look nice. Well, the dash pad is wore out. It's ripped up. It's the original one, I'm sure, to the car. And I made a comment in the video, well, probably it's time to change that, but I'm not going to. And I said in the video, you gotta draw the line somewhere. Because you do. And did people let me have it in the comment sections? That's not where you draw the line. That, just so you know, with my money, that's not where you draw the line. And unfortunately, because as the videos go on, I think it's in a video coming up or whatever it may be, but we go through the interior, and like the headliner's hanging down. I did buy door cards for it, so we'll put those in. The seats, they're mismatched seats. The back seat's the wrong seat, spoiler alert, just so everyone's aware. It's not Camaro seats that I got with the Camaro.
It's not.
No, they are not. And then to boot, I had to modify the non-Camaro seats to fit the wide wheel tubs that I put in there. So it really is a snowball effect.
So even if you had the right one, it really wouldn't have made that much difference. You'd still be,
But where does it end? So you put the dash pad in, okay. Well, it doesn't have any of the heater controls. Well, you got to put those in. The glove box, like the cardboard thing, is of course missing and gone.
Yes,
And I got a set of good use gauges, which hopefully will work, but maybe not. Like it's just, you have to draw the line somewhere. And I don't know. I think in my mind, that can be changed anytime. You don't have to have the car apart to change it.
right?
It's got new carpets, got new door cards, new stuff like that. Where does it end, Mer?
Yep.
Where does it end?
I know. I think that's the right school of thought with that particular car. It makes perfect sense. New floor pan, you're putting new carpet in it. It will never see the light of day for 25 years.
Yes.
It's done right, and it's over. Little things like that you can change afterwards. And who knows? You might change your mind. The next owner might want, I want the rally dash. I want the this. I want the that. So
I look at the guy like that. If you're put off by that car because of the dash,
It's not the car for you.
you're the guy that's going to go by the nice shiny red one that's dissolved under the door handle and full of paper towel and expanding foam, and you're going to go and complain. I was at at Walker there. I'm always at Walker Auto, where the sheet metal comes from, and there's a guy there. He had bought a car off, some auction site, brought it home, and it was a Camaro, and he had to get firewall and all this stuff because it was just junk. And the car looked gorgeous. Show me pictures of it. And now maybe it was rotten down low. I don't know. But now imagine trying to do, I did on this stupid 55, trying to do the floors and all this ugly work. while not destroying the nice part. Holy moly, is that ever a big job? I would much rather have just changed the dash pad at that point.
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we said it in the last one there, but the brakes, the suspension, the the floor pans, all the bushings, all the stuff that no one ever sees is done, and it's nice. And then I hear flack about the dash pad. I was like, you know what? Here's the P.O. box. Feel free to send me one.
Some people are just never happy, right?
On the internet? No. But yeah, I thought that was a good one. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people there, and that's the other thing, going into the next topic of that, that is the exact reason I think cars don't get built. And then a long-haired Canadian with a tow truck shows up and pays you pennies on the dollar for what you've bought, because you get overwhelmed and realize, you just can't do it. Next thing you know, a box goes on the hood, and then it's turned into a storage thing, and then years goes by, you're done with it, you've lost interest, you just want it gone because of the dash pad or because of something that's super irrelevant. We took that Camaro for a drive yesterday. Out of the driveway.
Out of the driveway, but I saw it. It was here. Now it's over there.
Yeah,
I
and
saw
it's
that.
under its own steam.
And it looks darn
But
fine.
I mean, it is rattling and making noises and banging and clanging. And I mean, it didn't go 250 feet. I'm like, but I was excited. I think a lot of people do that and go, now what? It's over. How am I ever going to fix this?
Well, it's kind of like a house. Like, a house is never done. You can always do more to your house, right? Like, the basement has a crack, so you fix the crack. And then the bathroom has grouting that has to get redone, so you redo the grouting. But you're still using the house as you're living in the house.
But that's not cars. Guys will build a car, they'll spend all their money on it, and then never drive the car. Because they're like, I don't want to damage it.
So then what was the point?
What's the point? Why have this? Because I'm the same way as a house. You go spend $1 million on a house, you're going to live in that house. And dogs are going to scratch this, you're going to spill whatever on the ground, you're going to live in it, it's going to happen. Buy the most expensive bed and don't use it. That's my brain is. You bring it to this level, and then the second I'm done, it's doing this. And it's, worn in. And that's just how it's going to be. And then when it rots out and I fall through the floor, I'll put a new floor pan in and we'll start that process again.
Well, I've found that especially the young folks now, maybe not real young, but 20s, 30s, they pay attention to things they shouldn't pay attention to and don't pay attention to things that they should.
Yes.
Like this, they're looking at a house. Those are terrible colors. I'd never buy a house like this.
Who cares?
When was the furnace changed?
Exactly. That's right.
In my defense, the only reason I know that is because I have the wisdom of Murr telling me to look for certain things when I'm looking at stuff.
Yeah.
But just to circle back real quick, if you have a 68, 69 Camaro that you've lost interest in because you've done all the work but the dash pad's wrong, email me, Dan at DD Speed Shop, and I will pick that thing and take that clunker off your hands.
It's worth nothing without a dash pad.
I know.
You're going to go ahead and put new floor pans in but not put a dash pad in? You sicken me and I'll take care of that for you. I will do the automotive community a service.
Indeed. Just take one for the team. Yeah.
Take one, you know what? It's my turn.
Well, everybody gets a turn, and that's it. That's what you got to do.
Well, and then there's the opposite way where there's people who get very excited about seeing the potential in a car, much like young Jackson over at Lucky Jack Racing, who, by the way, the 66 Biscayne he won. I'm going to pull up the official title of it. He took it to a car show recently, and he won an award for Diamond in the Rough with that 66 Biscayne.
I got 50% dibs on that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's 50% your award, too.
I pulled it out of the rough.
Yeah, you did the rough part. He did the diamond part. Yeah. Well, that's good.
But there's an example of a kid who, he wanted the car, he saw the potential in it, and he looked for the right things with it.
I love
right?
that kid.
He
Yeah, he's good.
understood what he was getting with that car.
He gives me hope in the world.
Yeah, that's right.
That there's more people that are going to be able to fix it and do different things. Because I still feel as though 20 years from now, the money I'm going to be able to charge the next door neighbor to change a light bulb is going to be ridiculous. Because they're not going to know how.
Yep.
You're going to have to go over with, you have a ladder?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so manly. That's
how does that work?
That's the way of the world. But That car is badass. We've got big block in it and everything now.
Yeah, that thing's
I
exciting.
kind of miss it.
Oh, maybe you can go drive it one day.
He'll buy it back.
He'll let you.
There's a guy selling right now. Did you see it? It was I think it's a 66. It's a 427 4-speed, Biscayne or whatever.
Yeah.
Rot. $3,000. No motor, no transmission, no rear end. Sitting on the ground, like rotted halfway up the doors.
Yeah.
But it's a whatever the L, whatever.
Yeah,
fancy it is.
L78 or whatever. Yeah.
The ad read, "Save this car." I was like, oh, I feel like I should get in there.
Jackson got his for $1.
That's right.
Yeah.
So he got a deal.
So there was a sucker in that deal. It wasn't him.
So when it comes to giveaways, because that was the second giveaway we've done.
Oh yeah, we tried. We learned our lesson. Every video I post now, someone says, "Give the car away." Doesn't matter what it is now, give it away. And I'm like, wow, I can only lose my ass so many times here, but I wish I could give everything away, but we need the money.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that people probably forget when it comes to that kind of thing is, like, we know we have too many cars and we would love to give them all away, but we also have to pay for a house, we have like food to put in, we have dogs to feed, we have medical bills.
I'm having a shift. I'm having a feeling of I need to let things go.
Okay.
It's like that book Mom had where you hold it and if it doesn't make you happy.
Yeah, does it bring you joy?
You have to let it go.
Yeah.
And they're not giving me much joy anymore. No. I just did my taxes, and as much of a joke as the YouTube thing is, it's a business of sorts.
Yeah.
And when you start looking at all those monthly payments at the end of the year and what stuff costs, and like I told you, spent $6,000 on storage last year. Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous.
That's a lot.
We have too many cars, and the best part is some of those cars were paid on like the Nova, the 71 Nova. It's sat now for 2 years because we drove it 2 years ago. Then last year, right around this time, I robbed some parts off of it. It's been now sitting for 2 years while I'm paying a monthly note on it to just sit there while I'm paying storage insurance on it. Yeah. And I'm like, what am I doing here? This is...
You have to make those decisions. Like I had before I had the Mercedes, I had an MGB and a TR6. And I liked the TR6 to drive, and my wife preferred the MGB, so we were usually in the MGB. And I thought, well, this is silly to have this. And then I got the Mercedes, which is much nicer to drive. And then the MGB set. And they said, well, this is silly. I mean, the cars are sitting there, they're taking up space, they're not doing anything. I wasn't paying storage because I was able to keep them at home, but it was silly just to have the car sit. Cars don't like to sit. Cars like to drive.
Well,
Worst thing that happens as cars sit is things go wrong again. The best thing you could ever do is keep driving it. But unfortunately, where we live, 50% is snow and ice, so it has to sit.
Well, yeah.
And you always end up with that little problem. But no, that's right, you can't.
Well, and we're in a predicament where we have 24 cars right now, which is not the most by any means, but it's a decent number for being in the city.
It's a lot.
Well, you know what the answer to that is.
Oh, we should move.
We should move out of the city.
We're thinking about it. But it's one of those things where, you can only drive so many as it is. And most of them are drivers. It's not like we have 25 cars and they're all junk. They all kind of, for the most part, maybe 4 or 5 are kind of really big projects, but otherwise they're runner drivers and stuff. But they sit 6 months of the year. Yep. So even if I only drove hot rods, which I drive a lot of hot rods, they don't get that many miles on them. And then you have your favorites, like my other Nomad, the blower on it and the 5-speed. I love that thing. I'll drive it every day. So the other ones sit and they sit and they sit, and then it's just, like you said, causes issues, and I have to let some things go, I think. And YouTube, this damn YouTube platform, as it turns out, people don't just want to watch me polish my car or sit by my car. You have to buy these terrible examples of vehicles, drag them home, hate my life for 2 or 3 months at a time, and that's what people want to see, as it turns out.
Well, I think you're doing a great service. That's what it is.
I'm going to drag these cars out, build them on the internet, lose money when I sell them.
Yeah.
Alternatively, we have very much enjoyed the YouTube community that we have found.
Oh yeah, I'm just joking.
People forget that you're a little sarcastic.
No, it's been great, but now I've done this to myself. I realize, I've always loved cars, but I can only afford 1 or 2 or maybe 3 at a time, and now. People watching these damn videos and commenting and buying a stupid shirt. Have I mentioned we have merch, by the way? Next thing you know, We're buying junk.
Well,
I
like
made
you
an
said,
offer
it
on
is
a
a
car
business.
yesterday.
You went?
Made an offer on a car yesterday.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh. What did we almost buy?
Well, it's still up in the air.
Oh,
But there's
I
a guy
see.
with
Oh,
a
wait.
69 Mustang notch.
Oh.
So we could fastback it.
Another good thing.
Yeah.
You have to consider what you do for your public out there. Now, just think back, a couple of weeks ago. I'll bring you back to the issue of the release bearing. So I would say
One time.
one time, yeah, but out of your 175,000 subscribers you have on YouTube, I bet fully 100 of them, when they watched that video at the end, they went, "Well, that's not me."
Hell yeah.
and think of all the, you see, they had the fun of watching it with none of the stress. So it's just like a public service.
But at the end of the day, I mean, the internet's full of experts. That's where all the experts are. It's amazing. You want an expert? Go to the internet.
There's millions of them out there.
But it is what it is. I mean, it's whatever. Again, though, I'm sure there's a guy out there who's done that mistake or something very similar to it, done it all, put together, it's wrong, and then they just, car sits.
Yep.
You have to just suck it up, and it is what it is.
Yep.
And we could have hidden that.
Yeah.
We could have been, we fixed it off camera.
Well, a lot of people thought you did. A lot of people thought that it was a joke and that you would fix it off camera. Nope.
Reality TV here, folks. I'm an idiot without even knowing it, and I don't find out till you tell me. And I found out on the couch, I'm like, let's see how the video's doing today. Like, I don't, so we schedule the videos, we edit them, put them up, thumbnail, the whole deal, schedule them, they come up, and I typically forget they're even there. I just, when I sit down or have a break, I go on there and start answering comments, and sit down, we're having dinner, I bring it up, and it goes, first comment, bearing's wrong. Bearing's wrong? And I don't even know what video it is a lot of times, because I'm living in the now.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the now.
That's right, yeah.
And I'm like, bearing's wrong? What the bearing? It breaks when I put on, like,
What did I do? Yeah.
I click on it, and they're like, I think that bearing's backwards, and this and that. I'm like, what? Then someone said, release bearing, and I'm like, release bearing? Well, that can't be. I better watch this video. Damn it. I didn't even eat dinner. We were out here, I was fixing. I'm like, I'm not eating until this is done.
Yeah.
So motor and stuff was out, yarded out, switching around. Ugh.
It was a very fun day in the DD Speed Shop household.
It was only 2 hours.
Yeah.
We had it done in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Motor R&R, trans out, had to go get the bearing, put it back together, and now it drove around the block.
Yeah.
So there you go. Such is life. You gotta.
Yeah.
You can't dwell on the little things.
No, there's a reason why channels like yours are popular, and that's what it is.
People like to judge.
People like
But people also like to give very good advice too.
That's right.
Like, we've gotten some very good advice off of the comments and
yeah.
stuff as well.
No, I love it. People
We love
are
to
great.
rip on like the negative stuff just because we think it's funny. Like, we're very positive people, so
Well, and I always forget there's new people watching every day.
Yeah.
And if you've been around for a while, and that's the thing what it is, it's in the comment section, it's funny because a lot of people have been there for a while and they go, this is DD Speed Shop. Like, at the end of the day, any car that's been in the garage leaves better than it was. 1% better is still better.
That's right.
So you can't say anything about it. And I think that's where people go, why is this guy not fixing it up? He has the skills to do this. Why would he not take it to the nth degree? And that's just not, I have no interest in that.
that's for the next person. The whole point was always to get cars back on the road.
Yes, and keep them and never go to the next person, as it
Well,
turns
that
out.
part's not supposed to be how it is.
Until you get the storage bill and you go, I got to get rid of these things.
Well, I think people are actually pretty reasonable, on your comments, because there's a lot of people. It's easy to criticize somebody else's, and they see for what it is. And
Well-
if you really wanted a Camaro, but you're a Mustang guy, I hate that Camaro and this and that. You know what? You learn something from that. It's different.
In the grand scheme of things, and it's so easy to dwell on the negative, and I like to make fun of it because I enjoy it. But we get 1.2 million or 1.2 million plus views per month, which is such a crazy number to wrap my head around.
It is.
To think that many weirdos, adoring supporters,
Loving fans, supporters, yes.
are watching, and then maybe I'll get, let's say 15 or 20 negative. I mean, if you do the throw bearing video, drew a few people up. I don't think they were being negative. I think they were just like, how could you do that? But in the grand scheme of things, 25 people, let's say a month, that maybe have some, something to say. But when you start doing that math, like it's not, it's
nothing.
It's tiny. But it just, some of them cut so deep. Like they just, it's like they know. Like, oh, you were right, sir. You were right on that one. Yeah.
You could stand on a corner and give away $100 bills, and somebody would say, "You're not doing it right."
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'd take $100 if either of you are passing it out.
Yes.
Just, okay, we're not fine. Well, Kevin on Facebook wanted to know.
We're answering questions?
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, let's look at the surprise.
It was a great segue.
Oh, yeah, good
and you
job.
totally interrupted it.
Sorry.
Did you speech up? Wait.
So Kevin on Facebook wanted to know, what are some things automotive that you don't see eye to eye on?
I think the show's almost over.
Yeah,
It's
I think
almost
It
Sorry,
is.
it's-
I timed this on purpose.
probably starting the next episode right now.
Well, we differ in types of vehicles, I think, but we agree on safety stuff. And one thing, Dan is even safer than I am when he works, because, I mean, and you see it in all the videos, like the safety glasses, gloves, the hearing protection, like that is something we 100% agree on, and I think that's a good role model for all the people out there. And the things that you do, like the way you replace things when they need replacing, even though this little $2 bushing might take an hour and a half to do, most people don't do that, and that's what gets into trouble. So we agree on those type of things, but what's a nice car? Oh dear. but I learned a long time ago when I was still teaching, sometimes people just are so unaccepting. There was a nice kid that I taught, and his passion was a Firebird, a 1970 Firebird. And we were pushing it into the shop because the starter let go or something like that. And he was a nice, good kid, not a problem at all. And a couple of smart asses were helping push the thing in and giving him a hard time. Oh, piece of shit, why did you do this stuff? And he just went, bang, hit the ground. You don't insult anybody's car, no matter what you do. You know what? I'm not a real hot rod type of guy. I appreciate what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not an antique type of car guy, but I can appreciate what it is, and I think that's something that we agree on. Like, hey, we agree to disagree.
Well, the biggest thing that we have different is patience. I have zero. Like, I don't have one. Like, I just can't. And Mur will be, well, let's go ahead and just, and I'm like, and I'm in there. Like, I can't. And I love it when we were doing Danny's car, we were painting it. Remember, I two-doored it, and Mur likes to come over and paint it, so I let him do that, he dabbles.
Save a senior. Yeah.
So, yeah, save a senior, support a senior. So anyways, we have the doors on there, so I bought these mint Pontiac doors, Canadian Pontiac doors, but they were white. And I was there, and I had them scuffed up, and I'm like, let's go, man, what's going on here? I'm still masking the paint, so I'm like, start painting. So he's painting one side of the door, I'm masking the other, and he's just like, we didn't blow it off, we didn't tag rag it, we didn't do whatever. And then it's in between coats or whatever, and that's fine, we go outside, and we're just chilling out, and I'm like, well, let's unmask this thing. He's like, it's still dripping, and I'm like, the paint's off. Then we're bullshitting for another, I don't know, whatever, half hour and stuff. Well, then I'm like, well, we got to patina this now and match it. So I'm in there with the Scotch Brite and stuff like that. And he's just, you can tell his brain is melting. He's like, what are we doing? Like, why don't we paint the whole car? Paint the whole car. No, we're going to scuff the doors. That's what we're doing. It's like, the goal is to get to here as fast as possible. And you want to, let's do some body work and let's fix the quarters. And I'm just like, scuff the doors, and that's how we go. So I think that's our biggest thing we disagree on. You like to think things out and plan things out and stuff like that.
Yep.
I do not.
That's it. And that's right.
Well, I liked when we did when I was building that convertible or whatever it was, the Roadster 57.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get the floor in. I thought, we'll put the floor in from the top. It's a convertible. I didn't pull a tape measure. So Merc comes over and we're trying to put the floor in. Well, as it turns out, a 57 Chevy, for anybody wondering, it's wider at the bottom than the top. So the floors will not go in through the top.
And if you have any doubts, put a link to the video, Danny, in the thing, because that was a fun day. That was.
So I'm screwing around with that. And at that point, we had, I think, the doors on it, and then I had some metal bracing and all that in there. Well, it was all getting in the way, and I was getting frustrated, and I just pissed off. So I just start cutting things and this and that, and we're trying to get the floors in from the bottom now. So we have the thing lifted up with no strength. We had to open the doors, and at one point the car fell in half. Like the cowl moved back 6-8 inches.
Yep.
Doors are now like not closing or anything. I'm like, ooh. So anyways, I'm like, whatever. I'm full steam ahead. We get the floor pan in, and Mur's looking at this thing going, well, it's bust. So I go with the great idea. Well, I have a winch in the garage to drag dead cars in. I wrap the winch around the windshield, and we pull it until I could close the doors. Closed the doors, welded it.
Yep.
Here we are today.
And
Doors
here we
still
are.
open and closed.
And there it is.
Now
Yep.
you would have got an overhead projector out there and started doing XY axes and all these
Yep.
things, and that was not for me.
Yeah, that was a memorable day. That was.
There was a fire that day.
There was a fire that day?
Wasn't that the same day we did the body swap?
There
was a lot. Like there was an A-frame. There was just.
Yeah, there was wood and jack stands and things like that.
There
Yeah,
Was
was
that on? Did we change the frame on that one? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Because we needed the X-frame.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't that on the Nomad? There's been a few cars who did that on.
Did the convertible too.
The convertible we did too,
Had
and Mur's idea was to build the A-frame for it.
Oh yeah, and the wood is still
yeah,
here.
it's still.
That's the wood that's why we have all this wood.
Yeah, we don't want it back. It's once you
Jack
use it
up
once,
and
it's bad.
Slid it under.
And
yes.
then Mur was like, well, you should find a way to build it so that you can fold it and keep it in case you want to use it again. And you're like, I'll never have to use this again. How many swaps have we done now?
Well, now we just use floor jacks to get sketchy. All right.
Well, that's
So-
our time, gentlemen.
Well, thank you all so much for watching. Please tell Mur to keep coming over and doing these sessions because he's he looks all tough. I know. With that facial hair, you think that guy's just a bully,
And
but
put your questions in the comments so that he can answer them too.
Put some questions. That's right, because I've spent a good part of my life answering questions for people on the phone and this and that, and I don't mind doing it, but I don't know what everybody wants to know because I am, in fact, an old fart, and I don't know what the clientele is there. But I mean, there's a lot of things that are just basics, but maybe people already know
And
them,
if he
so-
doesn't know it, he's going to research it for you.
that's very true. You have from when this comes out, you got like 6 days for Mur search. So stay on it; he'll do it for you.
A couple of quick questions, yes, indeed.
All right. Well, let us know what you think if you want little segments, stuff like that. And dspeechup.ca. We have those fancy shirts, 100% made somewhere. And shipped. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.